Good evening. Our top story tonight, Iraq 5 years later.
Protests and praise were evident all around the country. President Bush acknowledged critics of the war, but complimented U.S. and coalition forces for making great strides in stabilizing the country and rooting out terrorists. The president spoke before members of the armed services at the Pentagon today.
That this war has not come at a high cost in lives and treasure, but those costs are necessary when we consider the cost of a strategic victory for our enemies in Iraq.
Almost 4,000 U.S. troops have died in the past 5 years. And the 5-year war has certainly taken its toll on our troops right here at home. In the past 5 years, thousands of troops from Army, Air Force, and National Guard units based in Alaska have been deployed to Iraq as well as other hot spots in the war on terror. Now, during the first 2 years of the war, there were 3 Iraq deaths involving Alaskans or troops based here, a death toll that continues to rise.
And 109 Alaskan troops have been killed in the 5 years since the war in Iraq started. 3,800 members of the 172nd Stryker Brigade Combat Team from Fort Wainwright shipped to Iraq in August 2005. 23 soldiers were killed before the team returned home in December 2006. 3,500 members of the 4th Brigade Airborne Combat Team based at Fort Richardson were sent to Iraq in September 2006. 53 soldiers in that team died in the line of duty before that team came home last November. Now, the 4th Brigade from Fort Richardson is planning to be deployed again sometime next year. Well, the Alaskan death toll in Iraq is exactly what some Alaskans are going to be drawing attention to tonight. A vigil in Midtown was organized by MoveOn.org as a way to honor sacrifices made by American military personnel and urging Alaska's congressional delegation to begin bringing troops home this year. CBS 11's Andrea Gusty is live in Midtown at the site of a vigil tonight. And Andrea, I understand a lot of people are showing up tonight.
There definitely are, Matt. You can see all the people behind me. Now, all these people are here protesting 5 years in Iraq, but they say they're only protesting the war, not necessarily the soldiers. I'm joined now by Harry Broad of MoveOn.org. Tell me why it was so important for you to come out here today.
Well, it was over 2.5 years ago. I went to an exhibit about the war, Eyes Wide Open, and there was a pair of boots for every soldier that had been killed, U.S. soldier that had been killed in Iraq. And at that time, there was only about 1,000 sets of boots. And one of those sets of boots signified a young man from Anchorage that I knew personally. I knew their family, and it was, it was devastating to me that, a kid that I knew had died in this conflict. And at that point in time, I said, I need to get involved, and that's why I'm here.
Some critics of the peace movement say that you guys are not only protesting the war, you're protesting the soldiers as well. Tell me what you think about that.
Well, that's absolutely not true. Where is the safest place for these troops? It's back here at home. And they're not in harm's way anymore. And so we're all, we need a strong military, so we support our military personnel, but they just don't need to be in Iraq. We need to take those troops, bring them home, and use that money to support ourselves here.
Thank you so much, Harry Broad with MoveOn.org. Now, as you just heard, there are dozens of people here protesting the war. Now, the effects of the war in Iraq are all too real for Alaska's military families. They say every day this war in Iraq is going on is another day they worry about their loved one's safety.
5 years of war in Iraq have taken their toll, not only on the soldiers who fight there, but also on the families they leave behind here.
Our 9-year anniversary is coming up. We've probably been together for about 3 or 4 years of it, if that even, probably 3.
Melissa's husband, David, has been deployed 5 times, twice to Iraq. A military duty that's kept him from much of the day-to-day lives of his wife and daughter.
Oh, me and Mom and another one crap.
Which means most of the time, Daddy's not going to be home for things like science projects or video games.
But glamorous. Who's flossy, but glamorous.
It is hard. It's, you understand, but it is hard not to be able to talk to your husband every day, and you go out and you walk around and see all the other people with their families, and kind of tugs your heartstrings a little bit, wishing that they were here too.
For their 10-year-old daughter, Aubrey, the times David is gone are especially hard.
Sometimes I dream about him dying.
How do you feel when you have those dreams?
I start crying.
Aubrey can sleep a little easier now. Her dad and the other members of the 425th Combat Team got home a few months ago. But almost as soon as they got back, they're getting set to leave again for 15 more months in Iraq or Afghanistan.
How does it make you feel that he's going back to that? Scared. Scared. I'm very thankful for every time he does come home, but it does scare me. You know, I mean, I've had friends lose their husbands, and it scares me to death.
For Melissa, her daughter, and the other Alaskan military families, fear of the next deployment is something they have to deal with every day.
Now, the members of the 425th Airborne Combat Brigade are expected to deploy again as early as January, a date that their families say is already weighing heavy on their minds. They say while they are worried about it, they know it is their loved ones' duty to fight for the country as long as this war and other wars are going on. Live in Midtown, I'm Andrea Gusty, CBS 11 News.
So many people have forgotten the timeline of